Have you ever stepped on a scale in the morning, then again at night, and noticed the number change? Not just by a little, but sometimes by over a kilogram. And no, I'm not talking about after a giant dinner or a big workout. I mean, even if you eat and drink about the same, your weight can fluctuate in ways that feel almost magical. But here's the twist. This isn't just about food or water. You can actually be heavier or lighter in a single day because of where you are on Earth and what the planet itself is doing beneath your feet. That's right. Gravity itself is playing a daily game with your weight. The question is, how? Let's start with what we think we know. We grow up thinking our weight is a fixed thing, right? The scale says a number, and that's that. We learn in school that weight equals mass times gravity. And since your mass doesn't suddenly change and gravity feels constant, the logic is simple. Your weight stays the same. But here's the thing. Gravity is not perfectly constant, even if it feels that way. It's more like a gentle but restless ocean. It has waves, tides, and tiny changes that we don't feel but can measure. And they're enough to nudge your weight up or down throughout the day. So where do these weight changes come from? First, there's the most cosmic player in the game, the moon. You already know it causes ocean tides, pulling trillions of tons of water up and down every day. But what's less obvious is that the moon also pulls on you. The gravitational pull of the moon is literally lifting you ever so slightly toward it when it's overhead. It's tiny, less than a millimeter of actual upward movement, but it changes the downward pull of Earth's gravity just enough to make you lighter by a few grams. You won't notice it without super sensitive equipment, but it's real. The same happens with the sun, which also causes solar tides in the Earth and everything on it, including you. Now here's where it gets even stranger. Gravity isn't uniform across the planet. It's slightly stronger in some places and weaker in others. Imagine Earth as a perfect sphere with smooth density. Gravity would be the same everywhere. But Earth isn't perfect. It's lumpy, denser in some spots, and covered in moving water and shifting land. If you're standing on a mountain range made of very dense rock, gravity there will pull on you a little harder, making you ever so slightly heavier. Stand over a deep ocean trench where the crust is thinner and less dense and you'll weigh less. Scientists actually map these tiny differences in something called a gravity anomaly map, which looks like a colorful heat map of invisible forces. And that's not all. Your own motion around Earth plays a role too. Because our planet spins, you're being flung outward, just a little, like you're on a merry-go-round. This is called centrifugal force, and it's strongest at the equator, where Earth's spin speed is fastest, and weakest near the poles, where you're barely moving relative to Earth's axis. That means you actually weigh less in Quito, Ecuador than you do in Helsinki, Finland, by about 0.5%. For a 70-kilogram person, that's around 350 grams, just from where you are on the globe. And here's the kicker. Because Earth is tilted and moving through space, your position relative to the spin and to the moon and sun changes slightly during the day. That means the tug-of-war between gravity and centrifugal force is constantly shifting. This can make your weight vary by tens to hundreds of grams over 24 hours without you doing anything at all. Let's make this more relatable. Imagine you have a backpack with a few chocolate bars inside. Sometimes during the day, gravity is pulling on that backpack just a bit harder, making it feel heavier. Other times, the pull eases up and it feels lighter. The backpack hasn't changed. You haven't changed. What's changed is the invisible hand of gravity adjusting its grip. And then there's the wild card, Earth's atmosphere. The air above you weighs a lot, about 5 million billion tons in total. And while we don't usually think of air as having weight, its pressure is pushing down on you all the time. When atmospheric pressure changes, say because of a passing weather front, the total downward force on your body shifts too. It's not a big effect compared to gravity, but if you combine it with all the others, moon pull, sun pull, Earth's shape, rotation, and local density differences, you start to see why your weight isn't as fixed as you thought. You might be thinking, okay, so these changes are tiny. Why should I care? Well, first, they're not always as tiny as you think. If you take the combination of all these effects, plus regular water retention and digestion, you can see swings of over a kilogram in a single day. That's enough to trick someone into thinking they've gained weight overnight, when in reality, physics just played a little prank. But more importantly, it changes how we think about weight itself. We like to think of weight as this rock-solid number that defines us. But in reality, it's a moving target, a constant negotiation between your body, the spinning Earth, the pull of the moon and sun, and the invisible shifts in the air and ground around you. It's almost poetic. Your weight isn't just you, it's you plus the whole solar system's current mood. And if you really want to blow your mind, think about this. Astronauts on the International Space Station are still under almost the full pull of Earth's gravity, about 90% of what we feel on the surface. They're weightless not because gravity is gone, but because they're falling around the Earth at just the right speed to never hit the ground. Weight, it turns out, is more about the relationship between you and the ground than about gravity alone. If we measure weight as the force of gravity acting on mass, then yes, all these little factors are tugging and loosening their grip on you day in and day out. You are heavier and lighter multiple times today, and you didn't even notice. That's the beauty of it. It's a reminder that even the most stable parts of our daily life are quietly in motion. And just wait until you see how this connects to the tides inside your own body. Because yes, you have them too, and they're shaping your weight in ways we almost never think about. And yes, you have your own tides, tiny but measurable. Just like the moon pulls oceans into bulges, it pulls on the fluids in your body. This means that the distribution of liquids in you changes slightly over the day. When the moon is overhead, your body fluids shift in ways that reduce the force pressing you into the ground by a minuscule amount. It's nothing you can feel, but it's another small contributor to your weight mood swings. And when you combine this with posture changes, standing, sitting, lying down, you start to see that your weight is a surprisingly dynamic thing. But there's another factor most people never think about: altitude. If you live in a tall building or work on a mountain, you're farther from the center of the Earth than someone at sea level. Gravity weakens with distance, even if it's tiny over short heights. Go up 3,000 meters and you lose about 0.3% of your weight. That's the equivalent of dropping a couple hundred grams for free just by climbing a mountain. Even moving between floors in a skyscraper changes your weight by a fraction of a gram. And then there's Earth's slightly squashed shape. Our planet isn't a perfect sphere, it's an oblate spheroid, meaning it's slightly flattened at the poles and bulges at the equator. This bulge means you're farther from the center of the Earth at the equator than at the poles, so gravity is weaker there. Combine that with the stronger centrifugal effect from Earth's spin at the equator, and you can be about half a kilogram lighter standing in Singapore than in Oslo without changing your body at all. Now imagine stacking all these effects together. The moon's pull, the sun's pull, Earth's rotation, its bulging shape, altitude, local geology, and even the tides in your own body. Some effects make you lighter, some heavier, and they add up differently depending on the exact moment and place. If you could see your true weight plotted on a graph throughout the day, it wouldn't be a flat line. It would be a gentle wave, rising and falling like a heartbeat in sync with the cosmos. This is why scientists and engineers, when they need precise weight measurements, say for launching spacecraft, account for the time of day, latitude, altitude, and even the moon's position. For them, a kilogram isn't just a kilogram, it's a value that needs context. And it's not just an academic curiosity. Understanding that weight is dynamic can change how you think about health and fitness. That overnight gain on your bathroom scale might be 70% physics and 30% biology. You didn't suddenly gain fat, you just caught gravity at a slightly stronger moment. This is why athletes and researchers often weigh themselves at the same time of day, in the same conditions, to keep measurements consistent. Let's bring this home with a simple analogy. Think of gravity like a dance partner. They're steady most of the time, but sometimes they pull you closer. Other times they let you drift a little farther away. You're still dancing on the same floor, but the closeness changes. That's your relationship with gravity, always there, but subtly shifting. And here's a mind-bending final twist. If Earth suddenly stopped spinning, you'd instantly weigh more, about 0.3% more, because you'd lose the centrifugal help pushing you outward. You wouldn't notice it visually, but your legs would, because they'd have to hold up that extra force. The same logic applies in reverse. If Earth spun faster, you'd weigh less. Spin it fast enough and, in theory, you could float right off the surface. Don't worry, that would require Earth's day to last less than 90 minutes, which would destroy the planet in other ways long before you enjoyed weightless morning coffee. So, the next time you step on a scale and wonder why the number is different from yesterday, remember, it's not just you. It's the moon, the sun, the air, the ground, the shape of the Earth, and even the planet's spin. You are literally part of a planetary ballet where your weight is a living number, breathing with the rhythms of the solar system. And that's one of the most beautiful things about physics. It reveals that the ordinary is extraordinary once you know where to look. If you enjoyed this little journey into the secret life of your weight, then imagine what other everyday mysteries are hiding right under your nose. That's exactly what we do here on How It Actually Works, turning the invisible into the unforgettable. So if you want more keys to unlock the strange and wonderful truths of our universe, give this video a like, share it with someone who loves a good wait what moment, and hit subscribe. Because once you start noticing these hidden forces, the world never feels the same again. And that's when the real curiosity begins.